We're messing. If you're watching this, we are using YouTube for the first time. And we're just waiting to see how it lays out. So just ignore. And I see my face. So I think we are good to go. It's a little blurry, but I think we'll get used to. Wow, why am I so blurry? I am so much cleaner. Anyways, hello, welcome to the what is this, third episode already? Third episode of the 49ers Noir live broadcast. I apologize. I look very blurry on the YouTube. I look a lot cleaner on the StreamYard we are using, so I apologize for that. I'm Andrew. Jason sitting. I still don't have the pointing down. This way.
It's weird. I'm to your right, but I think if the way you see it is to the left, it's all good, bro. It's all good.
Okay. So yeah, I'm still very blurry. I don't care. So yes, the San Francisco 49ers, we're here to talk 49ers, which is why we hope you're here. Why am I echoing? We hope you're here to listen to us talk about the 49ers. And it's as always, it's been an eventful week. With injuries and all the fun stuff. We will start with the previous game, the 49ers defeating the New York Football Giants 36-9 in what post game I like to talk about in a scoregami, the first ever 36-9 final score in NFL history.
Crazy.
Up until the Fred Warner interception, it was a close game. And then it was a very not close game. Is that the best way to describe what happened on Sunday?
For sure. Like it started a little hairy, right? I think that 49er fans were a little bit anxious during this game to see how the offense was going to come out, how the defense was going to look. And, for a little while, the offense, we lost Jordan Reed pretty early. So that, I would imagine that made a bunch of people anxious. We weren't able to convert in the red zone. So the game was around 9-0. 9-3, something in that way. And the game looked like it was going to be what a lot of people said it would be, an ugly game, a hard fought game, like a game that wasn't going to be, a blowout, but, the 49ers caught fire. Kyle Shanahan really got this offense in a rhythm, and it all really started when Brandon Ayuk really started to get involved. And let's just put it out on the table. Nick Mullins was brilliant.
Yeah, Nick Mullins was very good. And I mean, to me, Kyle Shanahan pitched a perfect game. It's that thing with Garoppolo, and I said it after week one. Jimmy Garoppolo is as good as Kyle Shanahan is calling plays, right? And I think we saw that on Sunday. Nick Mullins had a very good game, and I think a lot of it was because Kyle Shanahan called an amazing game. Like, it's insane to me because I got Game Pass. I told you I'm very proud of myself for actually getting Game Pass. Like he's getting 9 guys the bite on a play action that's an end around to Ayuk. 9 guys or 10 of the 11 guys bit on the play action, and I felt really bad for Yadam, the Giants defensive back, because there was 3 Niners linemen. He had to get past all 3 to get to Ayuk. And I mean, those are the plays that when the Niners have 3 blockers, the 1 defensive back, those are the plays that show you Shanahan's play calls are on point, just perfect. And I know we could talk about, well, the Giants aren't that good and blah, 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 but there's still a professional level football team that sees these plays, these formations. They see they watch tape, plain and simple. They watch the tape. They see what Shanahan does. And Shanahan's still scheming them to where 10 guys are biting on a play action. Kyle Shanahan called a perfect game. Nick Mullins' game improved because of it. I don't know what else you want to talk about with the Giants game. They won 36-9.
Right.
Like it wasn't close.
Like I think we talked about that, like when we said what we expect. Well, I expected a game plan that was going to fit Nick Mullins. What we didn't expect was Nick Mullins to execute it that perfectly.
Yeah.
I didn't really see too many throws where I was like, what the hell was that? Or what were you looking at? Like Nick was amazing. And I think Nick, one way or another, that's a whole other discussion for another day. One way or another probably made himself a bunch of bank and has a chance to continue to do that this week if he plays against the Eagles and goes out there and plays well. So he has a chance to really boost his stock. I think what you saw on Sunday was 2 teams decimated by injuries. But the difference is the coaching. The difference is everything around them, the culture, right? That's the difference, right? Players mean a lot, right? And it's easy to say, hey, they were missing this guy, they were missing this guy. But they were so badly beaten, outcoached, strategy through the roof. You can tell the difference between the two organizations and who the better coach is. And I'm not certain. This is not a homer thing right here. With all these injuries after week 3, I'm not certain anybody's doing a better job right now of coaching their team than Kyle Shanahan at this point. He'll only strengthen his case to be coach of the year if the 49ers continue to get healthy and play up to the level that we believe that they can be, especially with all the injuries. Like the Eagles injury report. Like, if you guys want to laugh, go look at the Eagles injury report and tell me that it's only happening to the 49ers.
I conveniently have it in front of me. Rudy Ford, questionable. Vontae Maddox, out. Quez Watkins, IR. JJ Arcega-Whiteside, questionable. Jason Peters, questionable. Darius Slade, questionable. Dallas Goedert, IR. Deshaun Jackson, questionable. Jalen Reagor, out. Vinny Curry, IR. Alshon Jeffrey, out. It's not a Niner thing. It's not like it's an NFL thing. Like, everybody's dealing with injuries, and more so than usual, but like it's the NFL. It is the NFL. There's going to be injuries. And I think with your point of Shanahan being the best head coach, I think perpetually Bill Belichick is always going to be there just for how good he is. And I think he's the standard. Shanahan is, I think, number 2, and I don't even think it's close. Right. I mean, you got guys like, Sean Payton's up there. God, why am I drawing blank on every NFL? Pete Carroll's up there. Coaches like that, but Shanahan, it's almost too easy for him at some points. I mean, you see the way they, last year, I know the Packers weren't a great 13-3 team, but regardless, they were 13-3, and you see how easily they dominated that team. I don't like to mention this game, but for 3 quarters, you saw how good Shanahan was in a certain game that happened in February against a team that wears red too. So, I don't know what I'm talking about either, but Kyle Shanahan just week in and week out. And yes, he did have an off game in week 1, and that's why the offense looks so bad. But last week, and I know the Cardinals are better than the Jets and Giants. You don't have to tell me that. I understand it. The Cardinals lost to the Lions. So like, you look at Shanahan and just the way he runs this team, and I really don't like the next man up mentality sort of thing on all this, just because there's a lot of injuries. But Shanahan's coaching and play style, really, it doesn't matter who's out there. I firmly believe that my dad, who is a 60-year-old something, whatever, white man, whatever you want to call him, man, he's a 60-year-old man. I firmly believe that Kyle Shanahan can draw up plays to make him a 3-yard per carry running back in the NFL. And like 3 yards per carry isn't good, but you guys haven't seen my dad. He is not what I would call an athletic specimen. As long as he
understands the assignments and he knows where the gaps are and everything, he could probably get 3. He'd probably give you the Tevin Coleman special.
Yeah, and so like Kyle Shanahan's very good, and I'm really excited, and I know it's going to be a tough stretch of games, but like the 49ers should beat the Eagles. The 49ers should beat the Dolphins. I don't like to do the they're going to, because it's any given Sunday, whatever you want to say. But then they go Rams at Patriots at Seahawks, Packers at Saints, bye week at Rams, then the Bills. And that's going to be the stretch of games where we're going to look at it and say, and let's say hypothetically they go, I don't know, 5-2. Let's say 5-2, just to be nice. That's a stretch of games where you sit there and say, wow, they got out of that at a 5-2 record. Those are 7 tough games.
Yeah,
those are 7 tough games
for sure.
And if they finish 5-2, the reason's going to be is Kyle Shanahan.
Right. We have a question. I think it's about your dad. Can your dad block and not fumble though? This is a good question, Andrew. I don't think he can be able to pass block in this offense, man.
I don't think he can pass block. He would be out there. Listen, my dad would be the running back that 3rd and goal at the 2, you just give him the ball. So you can't trust him in any other situation. And that's how he'll get his 3 yards per carry. Is he'll just those 3-yard touchdowns. Yes. He'll find it. The fumbling too, I probably that'll be issues. But if you create a man who has the athletic ability of my dad and can pass block and carry a football like an NFL quality guy, then yes, Kyle Shanahan will make him a 3-yard per carry guy. Dad's 40 time is no. I would probably say 7 or 8. Like
7 or 8. No, he's got to get that sub 5 before we even talk about putting him on this roster, man.
But that's the thing about Shanahan is like my dad will be so slow. Like Trent Williams will be 30 yards up the field blocking, creating the space.
I already have the meme for it, and I'm gonna post it right after we get off of this.
Oh no!
The old man running. They put him in a flag football game in college, and he's running and like I got it. You'll see it.
Also, just a note, I can't see the comments on my thing. Maybe I'm in the wrong thing. I'm on private chat. There's the comments. I found them. There we go. Never mind. I was gonna say click them up if they're there, but I found them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Kyle Shanahan deserves a lot of credit for a lot of things. Right. And the offense is as good as his play calling. Right. And I guess that's a segue into our next topic regarding the quarterback controversy. That is a fan-made thing because Kyle Shanahan put that to bed. Jimmy Garoppolo is the starter. Nick Foles did what he's supposed to do. He's the backup quarterback. He's going to stop. Nick Foles. God, I'm thinking the Eagles, and Nick Foles isn't even on the Nick Mullins. I apologize.
It's funny, Andrew, because somebody on Twitter made a great joke about Wentz has to watch another BDN, rip up a team in front of him. So he's gonna get that. So I'm sorry. Oh,
I'm sorry. My dad is just. He doesn't play in the NFL. My dad's never. I don't know. I could say his name, and that's not going to give you an answer. My dad is he's back home right now, and actually we'll touch on this real quick. The fire's going on. They evacuated.
That sucks. But
they're back at their house, so everything's good there. But obviously it's that time of year in California. Just stay safe, and if they tell you to evacuate, get out of there. But let's get to Nick Mullins.
Yes.
Nick Mullins did his job. Shanahan gave him the perfect game to call, and he was so close to that 400-yard mark. I had the tweets ready, 325 yards. But the thing with Mullins is I think the big takeaway, and I said this post-game because I'm doing the live streams for the post-game as well. What he does is he gives Shanahan flexibility to allow Garoppolo to get to 100%. Mm-hmm. They don't have a backup quarterback where they need to rush their starter back. Nick Mullins is good enough to where, okay, hey, you're at 85%. If we didn't have a good backup quarterback, we'd rush you out. Let's give Mullins another shot.
Right.
Oh, next week you're at 96%. You're not quite there. You're almost there. You're practicing. Hey, why are we going to rush? We got the Dolphins. Let's throw Mullins back out. So, like, that's best case for Nick Mullins for me. There is no quarterback controversy if you ask Kyle Shanahan, because what was his exact quote? If I could find it. It was asked, there's no storyline, he said, in which Mullins continues his stellar play and prevents Garoppolo from reclaiming his starting quarterback job. Quote, no, that scenario doesn't exist, but I don't think past one game either. That's for you to do, but this is Jimmy's team. He's done a hell of a job for us. And when he's healthy, he'll be playing again for us.
So really honestly, what the 49ers have is a luxury that many teams don't have, right? There's a significant drop off between the starting quarterback and the backup quarterback for most teams. The drop off isn't as severe for the 49ers because there's things that Nick Mullins does that Kyle loves. One thing is that Nick processes the field very fast and he gets the ball out fast and he makes quick decisions. Why? Because Nick Mullins isn't very athletic. And I think that he doesn't want to show you him running out of the pocket, trying to make plays off schedule. That's what Jimmy does. Jimmy can do that. And Jimmy can also make throws that Nick can't. And look, as a stopgap, I'm not certain that there's many better backup quarterbacks in the league right now. For the 49ers to go in there, be that shorthanded, and absolutely decimate the Giants. I shudder to think what would happen if Kittle played, Debo played, Bosa played, Mostert played, Jimmy played. Like, what would this score have been? 800 to 0? Like
1,000,000 to 3.
Right. Like, so for him to execute the offense at that level, being thrown into it, again, give Kyle a week, he'll install the game plan for him and everything will be fine. The other thing is that Nick Mullins seemed to get more comfortable as the game went along, right? Like, everybody needs reps. Everyone needs reps. So as the game went along, and as you saw in the second half when Brandon Ayuk just took over, you saw Nick like he wasn't missing throws. The one throw that there was 2 throws that I was absolutely like floored by, and they were both to Brandon Ayuk. One was, a play that we see all the time. You run the play action to the right, and then you bootleg back out to the left. The thing is that Ayuk was running with 3 defenders closing in on him, and Nick Mullins has to drop this ball in between. So in front of the safety and behind the linebacker. He throws it up, and it's a beauty off his back foot with pressure in his face, man. And Ayuk makes a play on, and I'm like, wow. The other one is the other Ayuk one where I'm not certain what the Giants are doing. They're allowing him to run to the middle of the field, stand there in between 3 guys, and Nick throws a dart, like right in between all 3 of them, and Ayuk brings it in. Like, how many teams have a backup quarterback who is able to be as efficient as, run an offense the way that it needs to be? And like, we don't have that. Like, like the Saints don't have that. Like they have Jameis Winston. Like, who has a backup like that they can just say, you know what, everything's gonna be fine. And we're gonna be fine. This would be enough. So hold on.
As a Florida State fan, I was sitting there waiting to say Jameis Winston.
Jameis, that's it. Here's a question: with the way Quan's been playing and being paid $16 million per year, is it safe to say he's a cut candidate next year? For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Especially with Greenlaw too. I mean, Greenlaw can play both sides.
I have to watch him. I have to watch him a little bit more closely. But when I was watching the game, like, I don't know what it is about Quan and the angles that he takes to take down ball carriers. But he seems to find himself over pursuing, like ending up like completely on the other side when there's a cutback gap that he should be manning. I even saw him. There was one play, like he had a blocker in front of him, and instead of engaging with the blocker, he just fell to his knees. And I was like, "What? Like what? What was that?" So they restructured his money to kick it around, but if there's ever a cut candidate, it's probably him at this point. Just because Fred Warner, that play that he had the interception on, that's Fred Warner and that defense understanding exactly what's coming. You know why? Because he didn't even flinch and look at the receiver. He just cut the route because he knew exactly what it was going to be.
There is not enough Fred Warner top 5 linebacker in the NFL talk.
Or top 1, 2 at this point. We got to talk about it that way. And I don't want to be a homer. Yeah.
He's very good. And like, yeah, that's the thing is like, I don't want to sound homerish talking about Fred Warner like that, but at some point he's got to be up there. And you know how to watch tape a little better than I do. So like, I don't specifically see anything that stands out with Quan Alexander yet, but once I get to your point, I will see it.
Hey, look, I'll send you a bunch of examples and you'll just see it. Like, especially when the play's running away from him, what he does is he just over pursues. He just continues to run in the wrong direction, and there's a whole huge cutback lane for the running back. That's the part that's frustrating. He did it a ton in week 1, a ton. Didn't have to do it in week 2 because the Jets couldn't run worth a damn, and not that the Giants could either. But there's a lot of examples of, just miscues, and right now, with Dre being out, Quan is like forced. He's a necessity at this point, just a necessity.
Yeah. And I mean, just talking about watching tape and all that, it's insane how different it is watching the tape as opposed to watching it on TV. Because the McKinnon touchdown, right? And I posted the highlight. Juszczyk and Tomlinson create the smallest hole. It's just enough for an NFL level running back to sneak through, and you don't see that on the replays or anything like that because they don't focus on it necessarily because they find what they want to see and they show you. But like seeing that stuff on the tape is amazing. It's really, really fun. Back to Mullins and talking about, I guess, money. What Nick Mullins is doing right now is he is getting himself. He is locking himself down for the future. He's going to be that Chase Daniel. Who's another one? Josh McCown, who was the backup for the Packers, who signed the deal with the Seahawks.
Matt Flynn, and then got replaced by Russell.
Matt Flynn. He's going to be one of those guys he's going to get a contract. He has a contract in place for the next 10 years in the NFL because of what he's doing with the 49ers.
Let me ask you a question. Who says no to a deal that someone calls us up and says, we want Nick Mullins for a second rounder? Who says no?
I would say the 49ers. Are we talking today? Like if the Niners got a call
today, they'll say no.
They'll say no in the offseason.
Draft day. Right, exactly.
That's a conversation.
I'm all in on a second round draft pick. Look, draft picks are a crapshoot, right?
Yes.
But the only way to ensure that you get good draft picks and they hit is by getting more of them. Right? Like it makes perfect sense. If someone wants to give you a second round pick for an undrafted free agent backup quarterback, you have to jump on that.
Yeah.
You have to.
And you got to trust Shanahan's ability with quarterbacks. And you got to trust that, sometimes guys aren't good enough, which is fine. CJ Beathard, for example, to make it work in a heartbeat. Yeah. So I think obviously this season, and maybe this is a different conversation come October 29th, whatever the trade deadline is, and Garoppolo's shown he's healthy. I don't think it's still a conversation, but come in the offseason, especially if there's a guy on day 3 that you're like, hey, this quarterback can be good in our system. Why don't we send Nick? He's going to, because Nick's going to get a contract. Nick Mullins is going to get a contract from somewhere. Mm-hmm. And it probably won't be the Niners because the Niners don't have that cap space unless you really want to complicate things and talk about, well, maybe Garoppolo's not the guy. They can cut him with no cap.
If they don't believe Garoppolo's the guy, it's not going to be Mullins who replaces.
It's not going. That's my point too. It's not going to be Mullins. Mullins is not going to be an everyday starter on the 49ers because if the Niners cut Jimmy Garoppolo, you have to believe that they know they can get. And I'm just throwing names out. I'm not trying to create any space. They can believe they can get a Dak Prescott, a Aaron Rodgers sort of player. And I know Dak Prescott. Oh my God! Like, why would the
Dak Prescott's man? Dak
Prescott's a top 10 quarterback. Dak Prescott's a top 10 quarterback. I don't care what people say. What he shows, I watched him at where did he go? Mississippi State. I watched him at Mississippi State. And I'm like, man, this guy would be good on the Niners. And I know obviously that he went to a team in the Cowboys that was willing to give him a chance with a competent, quote unquote, competent coaching staff with Jason Garrett because Jason Garrett is an offensive mind. Jim Tomsula wasn't going to make Dak Prescott that guy. Chip Kelly was not going to make Dak Prescott that guy. Obviously, him being drafted by the Cowboys was probably the best thing for his career. But the only way you cut Jimmy Garoppolo is if you can upgrade.
Right.
You're not cutting Jimmy Garoppolo and saying, "Well, Nick Mullins is our guy."
Let's try Nick out. Right.
So that's my thing. Nick Mullins is going to get a contract somewhere, most likely not the 49ers. I don't think the Niners consider a backup quarterback position a position where they need to break the bank. But there's teams out there that will. There's teams out there who need quarterbacks who will bring in 2 guys at decent prices to see who it is. I mean, for example, and I know Trubisky's still on his rookie deal, so it's a little easier. The Bears, for example, right? They have Trubisky, who has quote unquote led them to the playoffs.
He's on the team.
He was on the team, because we like to take the quarterback and say they led them. And Trubisky wasn't bad the year they went to the play. He was good enough
the first year,
the playoffs. But they went on, took on a pretty big contract in Foles and made Foles the backup. So it's those sort of teams that, they don't have a quarterback, so they need to bring in a second one. The Niners aren't going to be that team. Nick Mullins is going to make himself money in the future. Off of what he did in 2018 and off of last week. Games like that, teams will see that. And then maybe we'll find out if Nick Mullins is actually, what he is, or if it's Kyle Shanahan. That's a conversation for another day.
For sure.
But essentially back to the original point, Nick Mullins is a quarterback that you do not need to rush Jimmy Garoppolo back for.
No. Especially when this schedule is a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Potentially all the 49ers have to do is just get themselves ready for this stretch of games that you mentioned. You know, but my point has always been, since all these injuries happen, is that if we end up healthy going into these games, and those teams, like if you want to peek at another team that's going through it, take a peek at the Seattle Seahawks injury report for practice today. They had 25 players listed on the report. 25. When we face these teams, we'll see who's available and we'll see who's not. And I'm certain that the 49ers will probably be in a better position roster-wise and be able to shock some people and turn some heads. That's been my point the entire time about the injury.
I just typed in, like the way you want to put it, in case you wanted like 25 is already a lot. Of the Seattle 53-man roster, only 28 of them did not appear on Wednesday's injury report. And
it's early in the week. It's Wednesday.
And I mean, obviously a lot look at it like this, right? So the injury report, DK Metcalf, resting vet. Tyler Lockett, resting vet. So like those guys are going to come off the injury report. But
Jamal Adams is out this week. Chris Carson practiced today. He might play.
My fantasy team needs him.
He might play. On the point. You know, I wouldn't say that he's going to play. They're playing Miami. And they're bottom of the league in pass defense. Bottom of the league. Every single quarterback that has played the Seattle Seahawks has torched them. Hey, and Ryan Fitzpatrick is next.
But I was told Jamal Adams, box safety, glorified linebacker, was going to fix that secondary.
He's their best pass rusher.
Yeah. And that's not good from a safety. That's not great. And this is no knock on Jamal Adams, because Jamal Adams is a phenomenal defensive player. He's not a safety that's going to stop the stuff over the top. If you put him in the box, he's too small to be a linebacker. He's the perfect size for a safety. If he was the size of a linebacker and he still had his abilities he has now, he's a top one linebacker in the NFL. He's probably the best linebacker in the NFL, but he's too small to be a linebacker.
Right.
So that's the thing. Like he wasn't going to fix their pass defense, or their at least their ball in the air defense, because he can blitz and he can play. He's a very good pass rusher, but he's not going to help the ball in the air pass defense. Right.
And in the spirit of talking about getting healthy, I guess we should just get into what today was a big day for many of the injured players. We wanted to see remember, everything was leading up to Wednesday. Okay, Wednesday we'll know, right? So what do we find out today from Kyle about who's on the mend, who's coming back, who might not play this week, and what their outlooks look like?
I am trying to find all the tweets I had that I accidentally closed, but I know Jimmy Garoppolo did not practice today.
Probably not going to play this week.
Probably. Well, yeah. And that's part of the point is, who knows how healthy he actually is? Why do they need to rush him back if Nick Mullins is playing well? I know George Kittle was a full send. Let's
go, Gennaro. We're losing 4-1, though. I'm sorry.
Giancarlo Stanton hit a home run? Ooh.
Yeah, but we're losing 4-1 in the second inning.
Hey, it's the Yankees offense. For those of you who don't know, baseball is my natural sport. So
sorry about that.
If we get too deep into it, I will talk all day. Ahkello Witherspoon was back after missing Sunday with a hamstring injury. K'Wan Williams was rehabbing. Dre Greenlaw and Mostert were conditioning. Jerick McKinnon was practicing.
He's fine.
Garoppolo came onto the field as reporters were leaving. Debo looked active, and Kittle appears to be good to go.
Looks like Debo's ready to go. I'm not certain if they'll activate him for this game, but him practicing this week is incredible. They have a 21-day window to activate him, so let that play out. The Kittle thing, he's full go.
Kittle's playing. Kittle's playing.
Right. And from what I heard from the beat reporters is he almost looks like there was never anything wrong. So I think that push came to shove, and that game last week was in Seattle. You probably would have saw George Kittle. But
if it was at any turf that wasn't MetLife Stadium's turf, it would have been
correct.
Good to go.
Correct. So that shows how smart it was to leave him out there and to still be able to wrap that game up by how many points you did. So Kittle's back. Debo, maybe, not certain. Jimmy, I wouldn't, get ready to play this week. I'm sure it's going to be Nick. Ahkello Witherspoon, that really helps because we still don't know anything about Mosley. So if it's got to be Spoon and Verrett again, who, by the way, Jason,
can we get some Jason Verrett love on?
By the way, Jason Verrett, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Who?
Give me all the crow and let me eat it. I thought he was having a good game when I was watching the game. I didn't realize how good the game was until I saw the film. And he's pressing guys. He's not afraid. Like, he guarded Darius Slayton almost that whole game. Somebody who can threaten him up top. He pressed him. He played off. He looked confident, man. He looked confident. And Eric Crocker, on Twitter, you guys know Croc, former defensive back. He put together this extensive thread on Jason Verrett and all the things that he did right. And like that sort of boost from Jason Verrett gives his secondary something that they hadn't had. Reliable depth.
2 completions on 5 targets, 9 yards, 4.9 yards per completion, 1.8 yards per target.
Yep. And now look, it's a good problem to have now, right? So Sherman comes back and he goes right back to his spot, whenever that is, right? But it's a good problem to have, to know that the second side, whatever, you're gonna make your choice between Verrett, Spoon, Mosley, whoever it is that's playing well. That's a good thing to have. But we had been scared of these things happening, right? What if everybody got injured? Well, now we know what if everybody got injured in the secondary, right? Verrett's fine. He looked fine. And I have to also apologize to the coaching staff. They were talking him up all training camp, and I was just like, why? I didn't get it, but watching him play, watching him go against a receiver that can really threaten him over the top, really impressed me more than anything. Golden Tate's not going to pressure you over the top. Golden Tate wants to live in the middle of the field. So if he's locking him down, then maybe I'm a little bit more suspicious. But to see Darius Slayton getting pushed into the sideline, not putting hands on him, but you're leading him to the sideline to close throws off, and he just looked great, man. He looked great, and that's such a boost to this team.
Do you want to talk about a negative I saw on Sunday?
Go for it.
The New York Giants, 66 rushing yards, which is good job on the defense.
How many of those were Daniel Jones?
49 came from a quarterback. Those mobile quarterbacks. It's an issue.
There it is.
And I think my favorite thing, and I mean this as a football fan, I don't know if the 49ers defensive line has ever seen an option play, because Daniel Jones had a 21-yard gain and a 19-yard gain on 2 option plays, where on both plays, the guy who's supposed to watch the play on the option just broke right for the running back. I don't know if the Niners defense has ever seen an option play. And the reason it's an issue is the next 2 weeks, right? You have Carson Wentz, and my friend who's a Dolphins fan, and just he's very sarcastic. We can't discount the leading rusher of the Miami Dolphins last season, Ryan Fitzpatrick. So it's going to be an issue. It's an issue. It's forever there. Daniel Jones, I think he had 49 rushing yards. I think that's the exact number. They had 15 carries for 66 yards. The running backs had 10 carries for 17 yards. Daniel Jones had 49. Mobile quarterbacks are an issue still.
I mean, they always will be. It's almost kind of embedded. You just have to limit it. It doesn't seem like you're going to be able to stop it. I don't know what it is about this. See, the thing that they did wrong with Kyler Murray in week 1 is that they just kept speed rushing him. Speed rushing him and then allowing him to step up in the pocket and move through these big holes. When you run wide 9 and you've got 4 guys that are spread out as far as they are, if you don't get to the quarterback, you have these gaping holes in the middle of the line. That was the issue with Kyler. With Daniel Jones, it was just like they were just ignoring it. They were like, go ahead, run it however you want. We don't care. You're not going to be able to throw the ball down the field. Some of that's Quan, some of that's the defense, the mobile quarterback thing is always going to be a concern. I'm never going to be excited about facing anybody who's mobile. And we have to face 3 more times Kyler and Russ, and twice the Rams, who now, when I watch them, they're just doing this to everybody now. Everything is Goff on bootlegs now. Again, it's been all the last 3 weeks. The difference is that Sean McVay's added a nice little wrinkle where he's bringing a backside option to sit. So what will happen is when Goff gets out, he sees his 2 options, but there's a third backside option that's sitting in the middle of the field, usually Cooper Kupp, who's sitting there for him to go right back to and say, boom, get the ball out. So even if you have to play dead to rights up on that side, there's something on the backside that he's installed in there to get Jared Goff easy throws still. Sean McVay is doing a great job this year right now from what I've been watching when I watch their film.
Real quick sidebar.
Deion Jordan for sure. I don't want to pile on him because Deion Jordan had a really, really good game. But
had a good game.
There was that one option play. I know exactly what you're talking about. Daniel Jones just took off, and Deion Jones was looking in the backfield like a Looney Tunes character.
I have a sidebar real quick. Mentioning Cooper Kupp, I used to do play-by-play for KSSU, which is Sacramento State's student-run radio station. If you want to listen to some good students, go there. Sac State plays Eastern Washington because they're both in the Big Sky. Eastern Washington was lining up with Cooper Kupp on one side and Kendrick Bourne on the other.
Wow.
That's terrifying. As a college athlete, that's terrifying. And you want to talk about the mobile quarterback? The game I am most scared for, Monday night, December 7th. Through 3 weeks, if I have an MVP vote, I'm giving it to Josh Allen. And the Niners have the Bills. And Josh Allen is very sneaky mobile.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's as sneaky as you think. I think they just run a lot of design runs with him. Especially,
it's not sneaky mobile. It's he.
You're just surprised that somebody that big, is that mobile.
And the thing is like the difference, and he's a different mobile than Russell Wilson. We talked about this. Russell Wilson uses his mobility to extend plays, and that's how he gets a lot of deep passes. He uses his feet to extend plays, to chuck it 40 yards down the field, and there's a guy open. Josh Allen uses his mobility to get the ball down the field, and that's gonna be the one I'm interested in watching.
Right.
That's the one that if the Niners can stop Josh Allen from running the ball, they can stop anybody.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know if I trust him at this point.
You're not wrong for saying that. The reason that I would say that I would give the MVP vote to Russ is that the Bills defense is a lot better.
So this is why I'm happy we don't have to make this decision at week 3.
For sure.
We got a whole season to let him.
You know what Russ is doing right now is he's lifting up not a bottom 5, a bottom 1 unit. And a terrible offensive line. He's lifting them up. The Bills actually have a good offensive line and a good defense. That's why I gotta say Russ, but you're not wrong for saying Josh Allen, and that'll definitely be a test. Especially, this is what the test is really: Stephon Diggs and John Brown. Both of those guys are amazing route runners, and John Brown has the ability to take the top off the defense. I'm interested to see what they can do with a guy who actually can toss it 100. I mean, he can toss it out of the stadium and it'll go incomplete, but the guy can toss it. So I'm interested to see what they would dial up off of play action with that.
We're talking about a game that's 2 months away. You want to start talking about the game that's 4 days away?
Well, I mean, I think we put a wrap on everything with the injuries. The D4 thing, we told you guys. I'm telling you right now.
It's more serious than what they're leading on. Get
D Ford out of your mind. Forget it. Stop bringing up that he can come back. Get rid of his name. That's it. Get rid of his name and move forward with the people that are actually on the field as replacements. If we get if we get one game out of D Ford, it's a plus.
Yeah,
that's it. I'm not getting anything from him.
I think my sole goal of the rest of the season for this live broadcast is to reprogram the people's minds of when they think D Ford to think or Kerry Hyder.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm a big Kerry Hyder guy. I'm a Kerry Hyder guy. Give me a shirt. Give me a shirt that says I'm a Kerry Hyder Jr. guy.
He's a steal, man. He's a steal.
They
identified him really well. Being on.
We talked about him last week.
Yeah,
he looked real good. Real good.
So I mean, I think we know who's going to be out there. So let's talk Eagles. I watched the Eagles today.
Yes.
The Eagles have so many injuries, right? We talked about it. Jalen Reagor's out, IR. Dallas Goedert, IR. Miles Sanders missed practice today, or was limited in practice today with a glute issue. Ergo, I made a nice little pain in the ass about injuries joke. It's a dad joke. I'm a dad.
It's there. Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah. Sometimes the best tasting fruit is the low hanging. So
yeah.
Alshon Jeffrey, if he plays, will be the first time that he's been on a football field in months, right?
Yeah.
Zach Ertz, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, Greg Ward. I don't know where the offense is going to come from for the Eagles. Let me take it a step further. Jason Peters is who needs to be attacked in this game. I posted 2 clips on Twitter, right? He allowed 2 pressures on the same drive. The only reason they weren't sacks is because Carson Wentz and the Bengals tackling is piss poor. But Carson Wentz was able to elude, and toss the ball away, and then make a run. Carson Wentz is shell-shocked right now. It's a little bit of the offensive line, right? But he's not making decisions properly. I'm going to post it on the breakdown that I do because I already have it all lined up. Like I did that all today and everything. I picked and chose all the ways that the 49ers need to attack. But they ran a mesh concept on the interception that he threw in the first quarter, which was a tip at the line, okay? So, right, a tip, right? You don't want to really blame him. Well, I am blaming him, and I'm going to tell you why. The mesh concept is a man beater, right? Basically what it is just two crossing routes. Anybody who's played Madden, you know what mesh is. Guys are going to run, and they're going to cross each other, okay? The problem is that it's a man beater, but the Bengals are in zone. Carson Wentz doesn't notice that they're in zone as you see linebackers passing guys off to each other, right? He decides to throw the ball in the middle of the field to a guy who has a defender on his back, a defender to his left, and an underneath defender. And the linebacker is sitting there looking right at Carson Wentz and moving towards to make the play on the ball. It gets tipped, and the linebacker literally has a cookie drop into his hands. Look, tip, you can't really predict those. Decision, horrid decision. Yeah, horrid. And his decision making is brutal. And one more stat. He is bottom 5, Carson Wentz, bottom 5 in this league, according to Pro Football Reference, with on-target throws. The 4 quarterbacks under him, Baker Mayfield, Mitchell Trubisky, it's like the worst quarterbacks in the league, basically. This is how far Carson Wentz has fallen. And when you hear Doug Peterson say, I don't know why in year 5 he's regressing, issues all over the place for the Eagles. Yep. Issues. 0-3, they need to win this game. I don't see how they can win this game.
So yeah, same here. And I mean, I watched the condensed game too, and I saw the wheel route interception. His I forget how many interceptions he had. It was a wheel route, and it was nowhere near. It was an easy interception for the Bengals DB. I forget who it was, and I forget the exact details of the play.
If a Bengals DB made a play on the ball and got an interception, it was that easy.
And my question is here is, okay, so J.J. Arcega-Whiteside's already out. Deshaun Jackson, questionable. Dallas Goedert, out. Other than Zach Ertz, who's he throwing the ball to Sunday?
Right. That's my thing. So, like I said, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside might play. I don't care. That doesn't scare me. Deshaun Jackson, here's the thing, right? What is Deshaun Jackson known for? Over-the-top balls, right?
Straight routes.
If the ball's not completely overthrown by Carson Wentz, they seem to be using him on screens, which I'm like, that's not his game. He's not a get the ball in space, make people miss guy. Like, they have so much going on. A lot of it has to do with the regression of Carson Wentz, but a lot of it has to do with the regression of Doug Peterson and the scheme. And guys don't look like they understand what they're supposed to be doing. Like, the Eagles are a mess. A mess. So I don't care. They're 0-2-1. They're 0-3. A tie's a loss, especially when it comes to the Bengals.
Yeah.
The Eagles have to win this game so they don't fall one game behind the rest of the trash NFC East.
I think we should make an NFL rule talking about the tie as a loss. If you punt the ball with 11 seconds in overtime within Hail Mary range, it should count as a loss.
And that shows Doug Peterson doesn't trust Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on over there. They need this game desperately, and I just don't know how they're going to win it.
Because like I see the argument too, because I think it was, what was it? It would have been like they lined up for a 59-yard field goal, got called for the false start. So it's a 64-yard field goal. I believe it's Jake Elliott. Don't yell at me if I'm wrong. Yeah, Jake Elliott. He has a leg. That's a makeable field goal.
He hit a 63-yarder to win a game 2 years ago for them.
My question is, do you have such little faith in your team that if you're not throwing up a Hail Mary or not trying a field goal from that range, because I know a 64-yard field goal puts them at the 46. If you're throwing a Hail Mary and you don't complete it, you're giving the Bengals the ball with like 3 seconds left. That means they're going to have to throw a Hail Mary. You're not trusting your defense to stop a Hail Mary. If you miss a 64-yard field goal with 11 seconds to go, there's 4 seconds left. There's no time to run a quick out to try and get in field goal range at the 46-yard line. You're also risking a Hail Mary. Why aren't you trying? Yes, I know you're going to turn the ball over if you don't convert either of them, but you're banking on, you're essentially choosing a tie and punting to a tie, then going for the win and essentially settling for a tie. And that's the difference. Playing for a tie and settling for a tie are two separate things in my head.
Right. The Eagles have issues, man. This has to be the 49ers again. Give me Nick, give me Kittle, give me a little Debo. Let's do what we did. Game plan around this, get it done. The concern that I have for the 49ers is going to be the same concern that I have every single week until I see a change, and that's interior offensive line. Fletcher Cox is going to work Langston Tomlinson. So it's up to Kyle to dial up these quick throws out of shotgun, get the ball out, make sure that play action is humming, because Fletcher Cox is going to – I'm shuddering. Like, if Quentin Williams was doing that to Tomlinson and our interior O-line, I shudder to think what Fletcher Cox is going to do this week. So that could be the only thing that I could see. Like, Fletcher Cox has to have an amazing game where he blows everything up. Yeah. Like, he blows every play up.
But then the Niners will start running the ball to the outside and it'll neutral. But my thing is, and actually I have the stat written down, the Eagles are like 3rd or 4th in the NFL. They have 12 sacks, right? Take into account that 8 of them came against the Bengals and their offensive line, which is not good. Like, if you think the Niners offensive line has issues, go watch the Bengals and you'll be very thankful for the 49ers offensive line. So entering week 3, they had 4 sacks, which is 2 sacks in each game, which is still fine. Like, I'm not complaining about that. Their numbers very inflated because they got 8 sacks last week against the Bengals.
For sure. I just, Miles Sanders will probably be out there. I can't imagine that a glute issue is going to have him, not in the game and everything as well. But what I noticed, what they were doing well against the Bengals was, at least in the beginning, they were actually running the ball really well. It's not hard to run the ball against the Bengals, but they were doing a great job of hitting them with inside runs, outside runs, and it was working. That was actually the part of the offense that I was looking at, like, oh, wow, look at this. Like, that's actually moving. What I saw the Bengals doing, though, is something that if the Eagles cannot contain them running outside with Joe Mixon, they're in for a hell of a long day with Jet getting out there and everything that they can run with all the motions and now Ayuk is Debo in a number 11 jersey, just faster. Like, Kyle duplicated Debo but added a guy who's faster and can take the top off of defenses. Same thing.
What was the meme after the Niners drafted Ayuk? It was from The Last Dance. It's when Rodman's talking about the Bulls offense,
yeah, he's like,
making cuts, this, that. And somebody said Kyle Shanahan thinking about running plays for Debo and Brandon Ayuk.
Yep.
And that's like the best, because like if you just take away the jerseys and they're just playing pickup football and you don't know any of these guys, and you watch the Niners last year and you'll be like, oh, there's Debo Samuel. That's Debo. No, it's Brandon Ayuk doing the exact same things that Debo Samuel's doing. So like, to see the amount of you remember Jim Harbaugh when he was at Stanford, when he would really flex how good that team was. He would run 4 audibles, 7 guys would be running in motion at once. That's what Debo and Ayuk's going to be. They're going to be running in motion at the same. I'm going to be confused. We're all going to be confused. We're not going to sure what's going to happen. And if I'm confused watching the game, I can't even imagine the defense who has to stop it is trying to do.
Right.
It's going to be very confusing.
Right. The other thing is like, again, I talked about it. Kyle runs those variations out of formations that you've seen. Like, he'll put something on film in a formation for you to see, so you can see it, identify it when you get on the field, and like, oh, it's this play. Boom, it's something completely different than what you saw on film, right? And the example is they ran like I say it all the time, the Carolina game where they ran that little herky jerky handoff to Debo and he takes it in, and nobody knew where the ball was. They ran the same exact play in the Saints game, except this time it was a toss back to Sanders and he threw it to Mostert. Like, those are the sort of things that Kyle can do to you. Study, cool. Watch this. I'm gonna hit you out of there with this, and that's what that Brandon Ayuk reverse looked just like the outside zone backside with the RPO. Like, it looked just like that. It looked like that fake counter. They actually ran it against the Packers, I think. And it's just it's crazy, man. People can see things happening. You can call it out and everything, but as soon as you see that jet motion and the window dressing move by, guys move out of their slots. You're a step slow, right out of the way that you need to be. That's what makes this offense. Like, I love how people are like, well, well, they'll figure it out. Kyle Shanahan's been running this offense for how long? No one's figured it out. If anybody can beat anybody, it's Kyle Shanahan beating himself.
And what's crazy is how much trust Kyle Shanahan has in his personnel. JaMychal Hasty was playing in his first NFL game.
That first cut was incredible.
I think he got 6 snaps, something like that. But his very first play in the NFL, very first play lining up in the NFL, he's in the backfield, shotgun formation. Mullins pulls him out to the slot, and it's just a slant route. And he's like, "Yeah, here, hey, first NFL snap, here's the ball." He trusts his personnel, and that's the thing, is you're going to see a level of trust in these guys that I don't think a lot like. Can you tell me another coach that on a first snap in an NFL player's career, not just like, I could see being like, oh, well, he was a first round pick. Yeah, like you're going to draw play. This is an undrafted rookie. And Shanahan's very first play for him, he designs a play. It wasn't like, we optioned him out, Mullins looked towards Ayuk, and then Hasty was there. It was a quick hitter. This play's designed for JaMychal Hasty. And that's like the trust Shanahan has. One thing we should watch on Sunday, the 49ers debut of Tabor Pepper. I
love the name, man.
It's a good name. It just goes to show like how cutthroat the NFL is. Kyle Nelson, we talked about this with the Jets preview. Kyle Nelson was on the Jim Harbaugh teams. He was one of the last 2 Niners to play with Frank Gore. One bad game, and he's gone.
He looked like he was in the toilet, though. Like,
he was in his head. He was living in his head.
How distraught did he look? And I think that's the worst sign, right? Like, if a guy goes off and he's sitting by himself and he's reflecting, that's one thing. This man was sitting there with his head down. And I think the real issue is that he knows, bro, this is long snapper. We can get 4 guys to come in here and do this. Like, it's not the easiest job. I don't want anybody to sit here and think that that's easy, right? You have to make sure you have to get that ball off on time, on target, so it doesn't get blocked. Mm-hmm. How that first field goal wasn't blocked, the Giants. That's how. The kid laid down before I feel like Gold even went to lift his leg. And I looked and I'm like, that's blocked. And somehow it just goes up because whatever, the Giants. They're just
my thing is too that I saw was they showed him on the sideline, head down, and I'm like, okay, he's trying to get his head right. He's doing, and then he came back and another bad snap. That was the issue. He wasn't, just something was off. I know the yips is a thing in baseball. I don't know if he got the yips. And he's been with the Niners for a long time. Just unfortunately, when your job is to do one thing, and that's snap the ball, and you can't do that. What value do you bring to the team?
And then I don't want to bring this up either, but like, why does the long snapper need PEDs?
Anyways, we'll segue from that. So we'll see what Tabor Pepper can do. Hopefully,
the name he gets it off of name value off the rip. It sounds
it's not Taylor Pepper. It's not Taylor Peppers. It's Tabor singular Pepper.
Yeah, it sounds like a great 70s porn name.
It is. Yeah, that's a very, very good one. So we'll see what he has for that. Back to the Eagles defense. The Eagles have 0 interceptions on the season.
Yep.
That's something.
Yep. I mean, they added Darius Slay, right? They lost Malcolm Jenkins. But they're missing so many people that are difference makers for them. I'm not certain if Brandon Graham's back. Like, the Eagles are in trouble. And the NFC East as a whole right now is a joke. Top to bottom, a joke. If we play in the best division, we play in the best division in football, the NFC East shouldn't be allowed to field a playoff team with how bad they all are. The Cowboys won a game because the Atlanta Falcons found a new way to lose a game. The Eagles still haven't won a game. The Giants haven't won a game. The Redskins won 1 game. Guess who they beat? The Eagles.
The football team.
Oh, God, sorry. Washington.
It's okay. I saw a stat today. Only 5 teams in the NFL have 6 or more turnovers. One of them is the Minnesota Vikings. The other 4 is the entire NFC East.
That's it.
The Cowboys 6, the Giants 7, the Washington football team 7, and the Eagles lead the NFL with 8. And they've only forced 1 turnover on the season. They have a league worst -7 turnover ratio.
Hold on. Yep, -7. You're right. Got it. I just needed to count that out real quick.
So like they're struggling, and I mean you look at this team and just how much talent they have on paper. They're tied for second worst yards per play. This team has too much talent to be this bad, and it's not good. And I want to shout out real quick to my coworker Manuel. He's a big Eagles fan. We have a bet on the game, and I just told him we could just like settle the bet now. Like we don't need to wait till Monday to figure it out.
Wait. He comes up to you and says, just because I'm a fan of this team, I'm gonna bet you that my team is gonna beat.
We decided at the start of the season. We circled the week 4 game. Like, hey, we'll figure out a bet. We'll figure out the bet. And I think the bet we decided on is if the Niners win, I'll bring in a Niner jersey. He has to hang it at his desk for a week. If the Eagles win, I got to hang an Eagle jersey on my desk. So you know, it is what it is.
And you're so right about that. Honestly, you know, special teams, they cost people games. You know,
yeah.
And that's what I mean about the and I think that Kyle Shanahan recognizes that. That's why he was so quick to make sure that he got somebody else in there to at least, well, not only compete, but he got the job already. So they must have saw something in the workout that worked. Let's just hope that he's fine and ready to go. And then this one works for him as well too. You'll get this one right off the bat.
Chuck Knobloch.
Yeah, the Chuck Knobloch thing. I'm a Yankees fan. Yeah, I know full well about the yips that Chuck Knobloch went through. He almost killed Keith Olbermann's mom was sitting in the stands when he threw a ball in there and just hit her in the head. She's an old woman. Like he almost like so that's how bad it got.
The most recent example of that is Rick Ankiel.
Yep, for sure.
He was a pitcher for the Cardinals. It actually ended up being a very good thing for his career because he ended up being a pretty good hitter.
And I think that people forget that about. I mean, I know we shouldn't be talking about baseball, but I think that people forget that about him because he could have just folded up and left the league, and he stuck around for a little while playing as an outfielder. That's impressive. But anyway,
like general point is, it's a thing. It's a real thing.
It is.
They get the yips. They get in their head. It's rough. And that's nothing to like talk poorly about Kyle Nelson. It happens. It's a thing that happens. And we look at these athletes as superhuman. They're people. Right. They get in their heads. They're people. And it's unfortunate to see it happen to a 49ers player, but it's a real thing.
Yep.
Baseball update: Indians 4, Yankees 1. So I don't know if you have the game up or
I'm watching it. I don't care about that.
Wanted to give you an update.
I got the update.
So. Yeah, do we have anything else we want to talk about the Eagles?
You wanna do predictions? I mean, like honestly, this is a game that I expect the 49ers to go ahead and win, even though we don't know who the quarterback is. I really don't care at this point. They're gonna have a game plan installed for both of them at this point. Whether we get Mostert back, we'll see. I don't think we even need that at this point. If you're gonna give me Ayuk, you're gonna give me Kittle with this defense that won't be able to cover George Kittle or Ayuk. 49ers win, and I think the 49ers, this won't be particularly close either.
I'm going to give a little bit of a different bold prediction this week.
Okay.
It's not going to be a 49er bold prediction.
Did you hear about that? I'm sorry.
I don't know. Let me Google it. It just popped up. Let's see.
I didn't hear about that. Like that was the guy that I was the most worried about. Like when I highlighted, where it could be a problem, Fletcher Cox, if Fletcher Cox is in there, he's going to dog Lincoln Tomlinson on the interior. So, if you notice the way people are attacking this line, they're not sending guys Trent Williams' way. They're moving him away from him because he's stonewalling people. Mike McGlinchey didn't allow a pressure by PFF standards and is now the second worst at his position, according to PFF at this point. And that was after one game of no pressures.
So Fletcher Cox showed up on the injury report with an abdomen issue.
What?
But it's the same. He was on the injury report last week as well with an abdomen. He's probably playing.
But if he's hampered a little.
If Doug Peterson is a smart coach, which in theory he is,
people think he is.
In theory he is, because you got to be a pretty smart coach to beat Bill Belichick in a Super Bowl. My bold prediction, Jalen Hurts gets 10 touches. 10 snaps. 10 snaps. Not touches, snaps. He had 3 in week 3, 3 in week 2. if he catches on and I know Carson Wentz is a mobile quarterback, he can move. If he noticed anything about the Niners defense, it is the option. It is mobile quarterbacks. He needs to get more snaps for Jalen Hurts. Option plays, whatever it may be, design keepers, just to keep the Niners defense honest. That's going to be my bold prediction. I think Jalen Hurts will see at least 10 snaps on Sunday.
So I like where you're going with the idea, right? Because it's true. Like, you see a weakness that the 49ers have and you want to attack it.
And I know I'm using, in theory, this is what he should do. I know there's faults in that as well.
I just think that it's tough for him to put 10 people, 10 snaps, right? For someone you have to get Carson Wentz going, right? Taking him on and off the field, one is probably damaging his psyche because it seems like he's already in his head with the way that he's playing and he's making decisions, right? There is something to the idea that, okay, there's this guy behind me now. Why did you sign me to this contract and then draft somebody in the second round? I think that may be more detrimental to what Carson Wentz is going through. I mean, I don't care, because if the Eagles want to give Jalen Hurts 10 snaps, it's gotten desperate, and the 49ers are winning this game by a lot. You're trying to pull something out of a hat that you haven't done to anybody else, and you're that desperate at this point.
I agree 100% with the Carson Wentz thing. I do think, though, just to play devil's advocate, I do think that there is some value of, as Doug Peterson, I'm looking at this team, it's like, we're 0-2-1. Something's not working. Let's try and change it up. Let's try something totally different. And Jalen Hurts, I'm not saying is the answer, but he is something different.
Right.
So just to play devil. So he did not practice with an abdomen, but it is an injury that kept him limited last week in practice. But he did play against the Bengals on Sunday. So it's probably just something occurring that they don't want to aggravate, but he's good to go. Kind of, I guess, I don't know if I have an example. I guess kind of like George Kittle last year with his ankle that he had against the Cardinals. Yeah. He didn't practice, but he played on Sunday.
Fletcher Cox doesn't need to practice to play.
Yes.
He's a vet anyway, so like they may have been giving him this day off if he didn't even have an abdomen issue. You know, like he's by far their most important player on defense. So I would suspect, unless we hear something in the next coming days, I'm suspecting that he's going to play, and I've got the 49ers winning this game 31-17.
I had 31-14.
There you go. Boom. 31-14.
There we go. My other prediction: Heat in 6.
Oh,
lay it down. Give me the Heat.
Whoa. I mean, I'm not into basketball like that, but I just know, I know our fan base, and I know that many of them, happen to be Lakers fans. So I don't give predictions on stuff like that. I try to stick to just football, honestly. And I don't even like baseball. I just like the Yankees really at this point. Like, I don't have time for baseball.
That's fair. No, you know what's funny is to talk about the Niners here. I definitely know that vibe because I'm a big baseball guy, but once Niners season started rolling around, it's just like you start paying more attention to that. And I just kind of like the Giants fell off my radar.
Yeah.
And so I know exactly what that feels. Ruben says Heat in 3. I like that prediction too. I'm very anti. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
But no, it's just 49ers. I got 31-14. I like Nick Mullins could be back there. Jimmy Garoppolo could be back there.
Nick Mullins gets his 400 this week.
We'll see. We'll see.
I was dropping that stat everywhere.
He needs to get it earlier. It can't be a second half turnover because like they had 13 points at half and then they turned it on in the second half.
Also, I think that was Kyle trying to heat him up. Trying to get him reps. Also like you don't like when a guy hasn't played, you don't dial it back and have him hand the ball off a million times. You get him in the rhythm.
They got to reverse it. They got to come out hot in the first. He has to get majority of those yards in the first half. So in the second half, they're garbage time. The shorter play because if they take a big lead in the second half, they're not going to throw the ball. But if they take a big lead in the first half, they're going to continue to throw the ball because you can't just be like, oh well, we're up 17-0 with 6 minutes left in the second quarter. We're going to start running the clock. You don't do that, right? But if you're up 17-0 in the second half, fourth quarter, 6 minutes, that's when you start running. So like. Get the yardage early, and then we could talk 400.
I'll make a bold prediction.
I like hearing the bold predictions. The bold predictions are what I'm here for.
Right.
I like to hear what random things people can pull out.
Give me George Kittle getting 130 receiving yards in this game.
Okay.
And a tutty. and it's not because, you know, I have a bunch of shares of him in fantasy or anything like that. It's just that Nick Mullins in his history, it's too grand to ignore.
Yep.
You know, if George Kittle doesn't break the all-time single season receiving record for a tight end without Nick Mullins.
Yeah, because Kittle plays as a security blanket, and as a backup quarterback, you use your security blanket quite a bit.
For sure.
And that's what it is. And so, like, yes, if Jimmy Garoppolo is a starting quarterback in 2018, the entire season, I don't know if Kittle breaks the record because I'm sure Shanahan doesn't use Kittle as much. But with Mullins, you use your best player as a security blanket.
For sure. So I think we should, you know, we'll put a pin in it right here at 105. You know, I think, you know, we touched on a lot and everything.
We definitely did.
I want to, you know, tell the people, you know, what you got coming up with your articles and everything as well too, like what you've been writing about.
Yeah, so usually I just do the so Pettis with 100 yards.
No. So look,
Bruh.
real quick before we do that, I didn't say this out loud, but last week I was sitting there like, oh my God, this is the week, I think, right? We'll get Pettis back moving. It's over, bro. Like,
Hey,
it's
listen.
over. It's over, bro. It's over. I don't know what it is. You talk about trust. Kyle has none in him. None.
The closest Dante Pettis can get to a 100-yard game right now is 99, and that's what the only reason would be is they run a pass play at the 1-yard line. It just so happens to get to Pettis, and he gets.
No, but Ruben, I understand you were joking.
Oh yeah, we get it.
I had those thoughts in my mind. Like I had that in my mind where I was like, oh my God, you know, like, you know, the reason that we were high on Pettis was because of how he performed with Nick Mullins, not how he performed with Jimmy Garoppolo. So in the back of your mind, you had to think, okay, maybe he can get him going again, like a basketball player, right? You got to just see the ball go in the hoop sometimes and you're fine. You know, like you just need to get your confidence going. It's gone. It's gone. I don't know what happened to Dante Pettis. It's over. I'm rooting for the kid. And I hope I eat crow, but I'm just like, I'm done, man. Like I don't want to see him on the field. He has no impact.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly think that when Debo's back 100% and Richie James comes back, where's Pettis fitting in?
I mean, he'll be on the team, you know, like just, you know, and again, it depends on who's coming back healthy and all that stuff, and they'll have to make their roster moves and stuff like that. But, you know, the top 3 receivers on this team are going to be Debo, Ayuk, and Kendrick Bourne. Even the Trent Taylor thing has sailed. I don't want to hear any more about Trent Taylor. Okay, guys? Okay? Like, are we done with this? Can we move on? Can we move on?
And that's a point I want to bring up too. Is we talked about the receivers being an issue, but seeing what Bourne has been and seeing what Ayuk has been so far, there's a lot worse you can do than Debo, Ayuk, and Bourne.
For sure.
There's a lot worse you can do. There's teams out there that would kill to have that.
Right, and especially with what we want to run, right? Like, I swear, when I was watching Ayuk play, I was like, oh my God, Debo's back. Like, he literally was running those little slants that Debo runs where, like, they literally, the throw is no progressions, one read, and he throws it in, and it's right there, and he catches it for yards after the catch. Aggravated Jason's the best Jason. Ruben, I'm not even aggravated. And I can get aggravated. It would just take the right comment on live to get me over the top because I have done it. I've done it on Niners all day. I'm not proud of it. Wasn't my finest moment. But someone really pissed me off one day and I went crazy or whatever. But yeah, honestly, you know, like I didn't mean to cut you off. It's just that he brought up
I saw the question. We had to touch on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, most of what I'm doing is the 3 matchups to watch. I put a decent amount of work into those. So if you read those, know that there's work being put behind it. I'm trying to do a little bit more. Still trying to figure out where my place is with 49ers Noir, but I'm writing for them at least once a week, and I'm here. And then I'm also doing a post game on my personal Twitter page because I haven't gotten the YouTube page set up. But 49ers Noir is retweeting that for me as well. So you can find me at my Twitter at Pasquini Andrew. If you want to see 49ers stuff, you could see it. If you want to see bad jokes, hey, we're there too.
I'm with the bad jokes thing. I try to throw jokes in there. They don't always land. Like, I didn't think that Miles Sanders joke was going to, you know, be good. I thought people were just going to start throwing tomatoes. So,
my best tweet that I've ever had was probably the dumbest thing I did. It was back when Ayesha Curry's, Steph Curry's wife, was opening her restaurant in Houston, and people were leaving 1-star reviews because the city of Houston doesn't really like Stephen Curry because,
No.
you know, he's the best basketball player to ever walk through that city. And people were leaving 1-star reviews on her restaurant because whatever, people hate on the internet. So I went on, left a 5-star review, and just made a bunch of Houston Rocket jokes, kind of slid into like, I said, hey, this restaurant's really good if you have anywhere from 0 to 27 friends that you want to, because the Rockets missed 27 consecutive threes in that game 7. And I'm like, hey, Aisha Curry, I went to your Yelp and gave you a good review. And I got like maybe like 250 retweets and 1,000 likes. And like, I'm like, man, that was dumb. Like, that was just such a waste of time that I did it. But like, hey, the Twitter, it got clout. It got clout.
For sure. It's always those that you never expect, right? Like,
it's always those, yeah.
Like, you can have a well thought out tweet and say, this is going to be a banger. You'll put it out and it'll get like 2 likes. You'll put something together really fast and it just takes off. And it's just how Twitter is.
Matt Mayoko posted a picture, Niners beat writer, of his, I guess his cat like scratched up his leg, and it was a brutal looking cut. And he said, can anybody guess what living animal caused this to me? And my response was, I thought the low hanging fruit of MetLife Stadium's turf. And that got like 150 likes. I'm like, man, how was I the only one who tweeted that? I thought that was a pretty easy joke.
Well, you weren't the only one who thought of it. It's just that people look, and when you see it there, you're like, shit, I can't even even do it.
So
speaking of Twitter, I have a funny story actually. So
let's do it.
I don't know if you saw, I don't know, for the people that follow me, right? Like, the Giants game was deeply personal for me, right? Like, I took it personal because of where I live, right? And I have to deal with these Giants fans all the time. So I wasn't going to let up off them a bit, right? I could have took the classy route, taking the high road. But what's the fun in that? The Giants fans didn't take the high road when they beat us in the NFC Championship, right? So I didn't take the high road. So I found a video on Instagram of a Giants fan, a YouTuber, Pizzle.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I saw the video.
Yeah, you saw the video. Losing his mind about the Giants getting destroyed, about Nick Mullins, blah, blah, blah. I posted it. Yo, the tweet went up. 25,000 views, or, getting retweeted, getting looked at and everything as well. Yo, this man followed me.
Oh, no.
And sent me an evil DM.
Oh,
and then blocked me. And then blocked me.
Blocked you?
Yep.
Oh, that's so much effort.
The worst part is this. I helped you. 25,000 views that you would have never gotten if I didn't tweet you. So when he sent the expletive-laden DM, asking me to eat a certain part of the male anatomy, and then calling me a female dog,
okay,
I hit him back before he blocked me and said, "Man, I'm sorry, bro. It was just a funny video."
Yeah, I just feel like if you're posting that stuff on the internet, you're asking to be
right.
made.
It's like, so you're mad that I found the video and it sent people to your stupid YouTube channel where you yell in your basement, moron, and you're mad at me. I you know what? That's my proudest moment on Twitter. That's a huge W because he's a Giants fan. It's a huge W. Huge W. Like that, like I need a badge of honor. I need a PlayStation trophy that pops up like in life. I need it. I got somebody so mad that they were mad after the game and then mad the next day because of how bad the 49ers and Nick Mullins took the Giants to the woodshed.
Hey man, it happens. It do be, and the fact he took the energy to block you is
he followed me and I followed him back, and I thought he was gonna send me a DM like, I was gonna be like, look, bro, it's all jokes, it's all love and everything, like I really was about to be like that, but he had all that anger that he had from the day before carried over into that DM. It was a beauty, man, you love to see it. I'm
27 and I've gotten to a point where I will let sports bother me for about 20 minutes after. And yes, I sent you this sick soccer goal that just happened. I'm 27. I got to a point where I don't really let sports bother me anymore. I'll be mad for maybe end of day, right? So Niners lose, I'll be upset end of day. Next day, I'll be over it. I just can't imagine being an adult and going on your personal pages, recording a video of you screaming at camera. And I know we talk into a camera, but if the Niners lose by, let's just say worst case scenario, and the Eagles beat the Niners 49-0, I'm going to have the same mannerisms. I'm not going to be any different. Yeah, I'll say bad things about the Niners, but I'm not going to be personally offended. I'm not going to be personally upset. I can't imagine being that anymore. I like when I was like 16, absolutely, because sports was end all be all of the world for me. But now I'm 27, I'm an adult. I realize that like there's a lot more important things in life. I just can't picture doing that anymore.
The issue is this too, is I think what happened is that he was being tagged all over the post, right?
Probably.
People recognized him because apparently he's big on YouTube. I have questions, bro. Why do you live in the middle of the country and you're a Giants fan? Like, explain that one to me. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But I think it was funny because, well, it wasn't funny, but you 49ers fans are bullies. You guys were saying some crazy things to him, man. Like,
oh yeah, let him. Like, cool. He might have been crazy, but like, let's just.
I posted the video and just said inject it into my veins. I feel the fury, and I could chop that shit up and just snort it. That's how much I need that. Yeah. My team left you in shambles. Give it to me. Doesn't matter what base. So that's all I posted. Not gonna make fun of the guy. I've had feelings like that. I just never done it on camera. I yell in the room by myself into a pillow. It's very therapeutic, guys. You should try it.
Yeah, like just whatever.
After we lost to the Cardinals, I put it over my face. Blah 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 blah. Done.
Yeah,
over and done.
Whatever. So
anyway,
hey, maybe next week. I don't know how it looks to the people watching. Maybe next week I'll have a new camera that's not super blurry on the YouTube. Because I'm
handsome, bro. That beard, like, you need to give me some beard advice because my beard game is nowhere near yours.
Just grow it out.
I'm trying. I've been trying.
That's all I really do, to be honest.
This is my quarantine beard.
But we will be back next week, same time. We will be breaking down the Eagles 49ers game. And then we will probably preview the 49ers Dolphins. 2 last notes. Best country song there is. I've been waiting all day for Sunday Night by Carrie Underwood. Hits differently when the 49ers are playing.
When the 49ers play
out there. Second, if you send me proof that you watched 3 hours of the Broncos and Jets on Thursday Night Football without betting money on it, I will give you a figurative gold star.
Give it to me because
I'm absolutely watching it.
I'm ready. I need something.
Yeah, it'll be. Hey, man, we might get 2 Monday Night Football games, so we'll see.
That might be cool. Let's see what happens. But,
unfortunately, the situation isn't fun. But
no, it's not.
Two Monday Night Football games is always fun. So,
but it's good that they at least have this in place where they think they can do something. So,
give me Tuesday Night Football. Why not?
Right. So yeah, guys, follow me on Twitter at JasonAponte2103. Right after I get off of here, gonna be uploading the review of the Giants game, and then if I'm feeling what's the word? Motivated. Yeah. Maybe tonight we'll have that one and we'll have the preview of how to attack the Eagles. So yeah, I mean I'm trying to be as productive as I can. My daughter's sleeping, so I have to try to do it now. So thank you, Sin. Thank you for checking in. We appreciate you. And
every Wednesday.
And I'll see you on Niners all day, when I'm on there. I think we're doing one tomorrow where we're going to be on with the Eagles YouTuber. So I'll see you on there and we'll be talking with them. All these things that I've said today, I'm prepared to double down on tomorrow with film. So
and last thing, be sure to follow 49ersNoir.
For sure.
Subscribe on the YouTube, follow on Twitter, follow our website. Come check it out. We're going to be here. We're going to have fun with it. We're going to try and give you as much information we can. And just come back next Wednesday, and we'll be here.
Yep, for sure. So subscribe, like, and then once you subscribe, you'll be alerted as soon as we go on live. But we're gonna be on every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 Pacific time.
Yep, there we go. So I'll see you next week.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Hey, go 49ers.
Go Niners.